The middle class uses debt to buy things that lose value. The wealthy use debt to buy things that make money. That one difference explains more about the wealth gap in America than almost anything else. You were taught that debt is bad. Avoid it. Pay it off. Stay away from it. And for most people, that advice makes complete sense. Because most people use debt in ways that make them poorer. But here is the secret that wealthy Americans understand, and that your school never taught you. There are two completely different types of debt. And the rich have been using the second type to build generational wealth for centuries. The first type is consumer debt. This is the debt that destroys wealth. Credit cards, car loans, personal loans for vacations. Buy now, pay later. This debt buys you things that immediately lose value. And then charges you 20% to 30% interest on top of that loss. The average American household carries $6,000 in credit card debt at 24% interest. That means they pay $1,440 every year, just in interest, for things they have already consumed. Nothing to show for it. Just money disappearing. The second type is wealth-building debt. This is debt that wealthy people use to acquire assets that generate income greater than the cost of the debt itself. This is called leverage. And it is the primary tool the wealthy use to multiply their money. Here is a simple example. A wealthy investor borrows $500,000 at 7% interest to buy a rental property. The property generates $50,000 per year in rental income. After paying the $35,000 annual interest, they keep $15,000 in profit per year, using someone else's money. And the property itself appreciates in value on top of that. They didn't use their own money. They used the bank's money to make money. That is leverage. And that is how wealthy Americans build wealth. While working class Americans pay the bank interest on things that are already in the trash. The psychology behind this is fascinating. Research shows that wealthy people have a fundamentally different relationship with debt. They don't see debt as a burden, they see it as a tool. A hammer is not dangerous. Using a hammer on your own head is dangerous. Debt works the same way. Warren Buffett has used leverage his entire career. The biggest real estate empires in America were built on borrowed money. Amazon, Apple, Tesla, all borrowed billions to grow. The difference between the wealthy and everyone else is not access to debt. It is how they think about debt. There is a concept called the debt-to-income ratio. Banks use this to decide who gets loans. But wealthy people use it differently. They look at the return-to-debt ratio. Not how much they owe compared to what they earn, but how much their debt is making them compared to what it costs them. If your debt costs you 7% and earns you 15%, that is good debt. If your debt costs you 24% and earns you nothing, that is the debt that is keeping you poor. So what can the average American actually do with this knowledge? 3 things. First, eliminate all consumer debt as fast as possible. Credit cards, car loans, personal loans, pay these off aggressively. Every dollar of consumer debt is costing you 20% to 30% per year. Eliminating it gives you an instant guaranteed 24% return on your money. Second, when you take on debt, make sure it produces income. A mortgage on a rental property. A business loan with a clear revenue model. A student loan for a degree with measurable earning potential. Debt that produces more income than it costs is wealth-building debt. Third, change how you think about debt. Stop thinking, can I afford the monthly payment? And start thinking, what will this debt earn me? Monthly payment thinking is how banks make money. Return on debt thinking is how wealthy people make money. The wealthy are not smarter than you. They just learned a different set of rules about money. And now, so have you. Subscribe to the Money Mind for more psychology of wealth every week. Next video, we are going to reveal why the richest Americans think about time completely differently. And how that one mindset shift separates the wealthy from everyone else.